Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there lived a beautiful princess named Snow White. She had skin as white as snow, lips as red as roses, and hair as dark as ebony. Everyone in the kingdom admired her, but Snow White's stepmother, the evil queen, was jealous of her beauty. The queen had a magic mirror that always told the truth. Every day she would ask the mirror, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?" And the mirror would reply, "You are the fairest one, my queen." One fateful day, the mirror's answer changed. It said, "Snow White is the fairest of them all." This made the evil queen furious. She could not bear the thought of anyone being more beautiful than her. So she hatched a wicked plan to get rid of Snow White. The queen ordered her huntsman to take Snow White deep into the forest and bring back her heart as proof that she was gone forever. The huntsman, however, was a kind-hearted soul. When he saw Snow White's innocence and beauty, he couldn't go through with the queen's orders. Instead, he let Snow White go and told her to run away and hide from the queen's wrath. Lost and scared in the forest, Snow White stumbled upon a cozy little cottage. Inside, she found 7 tiny beds, a table with 7 small chairs, and everything she needed to make a delicious meal. It was the home of 7 friendly dwarfs: Grumpy, Happy, Sleepy, Bashful, Sneezy, Dopey, and Doc. The dwarfs returned home after a long day of work in the mines and were surprised to find Snow White in their cottage. She explained her plight, and the dwarfs welcomed her with open arms. They told her she could stay with them as long as she helped with the cooking and cleaning. Snow White happily agreed and soon became great friends with the dwarfs. She would sing cheerful songs while she worked, and the dwarfs couldn't help but smile. They became like a little family, with Snow White as their caring mother. Meanwhile, the evil queen, believing Snow White was gone, asked her magic mirror again who the fairest in the land was. But to her dismay, the mirror replied, "Snow White is alive and well, living with the 7 dwarfs in the forest." The queen, filled with rage, decided to take matters into her own hands. She disguised herself as an old woman and created a poisoned apple. The apple was so red and shiny that it looked too delicious to resist. The queen went to the dwarf's cottage and offered Snow White a bite. Snow White, not suspecting any harm, took a bite of the poisoned apple and fell into a deep sleep. The queen cackled with wicked glee and left the cottage, thinking she had finally gotten rid of Snow White for good. When the dwarfs returned home, they found Snow White under the wicked spell. They tried everything to wake her, but nothing worked. In their sorrow, they placed her in a glass coffin and surrounded her with beautiful flowers. News of Snow White's beauty and tragic fate spread throughout the land. One day, a brave prince passing through the forest heard the tale and wanted to see Snow White for himself. When he saw her lying in the glass coffin, he was captivated by her beauty and grace. He leaned down and kissed her gently, breaking the evil spell. Snow White opened her eyes, and her heart filled with joy. She and the prince looked into each other's eyes and fell in love. The evil queen's evil deeds had finally caught up with her, and she met her own wicked end. Snow White and the prince were married in a grand ceremony, and they, along with the 7 dwarfs, lived happily ever after. Snow White had learned the importance of kindness, and the dwarfs had found a true friend. And so, children, this is the tale of Snow White, a kind and gentle princess, and how love and friendship triumphed over jealousy and wickedness in the end. The moral message of Snow White and the 7 dwarfs is that kindness, inner beauty, and the power of love can triumph over envy and cruelty.